Hello, this is Christine, and you are listening to a deeper conversation with Christine. So, I first want to start out by apologizing for the sound. In my first episode, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. I was trying to do something fancy with the sound, and it just came off a little, off. So, I'm sorry about that, and thank you for all my returning listeners. You didn't allow that to deter you from coming back. So, I appreciate you and welcome, all the first time listeners. Um, Thank you for joining me. So, with that said, what are we going to talk about today? Well, what we're going to talk about today is what makes a person a good person and what makes a person a bad person. Well, I did Google the definition of a good person, and this always plays a big part as to who we become in life. So, with that said, let's talk about one of my characters named Gabriel Decadeaux in my book, The Diary of Madame Decadeaux, Part 1. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit background about Gabriel Decadeaux. So he's a slave master, so therefore he forces thousands of people to work for him for free so that he can become rich, right? And he does become quite rich, right? And as you may know, what happened to enslaved women, a lot of these enslaved women, are violated, so far, um, it's not sounding good for Gabriel Decadeaux. All right, so let's learn about Gabriel Decadeaux in chapter 8. So I'm going to read a little excerpt from my book, The Diary of Madame Decadeaux, Part 1. And the narrator of this book is called, or her name is Marie Claire. And Marie Claire is actually telling you the story about her life. So this is her diary. So she's telling you what's happening to her, right? So here's a little background about Marie Claire. So she was born and raised in Africa, and when she was 14, she was kidnapped from Africa and sold into slavery in Saint-Domingue, what we will call now modern day Haiti. On the road back, my gaze met Gabrielle's. I quickly looked away, for enslaved people were not permitted to meet their master's gaze or eyes. Yet, in that brief moment, the hatred I carried for him began to fade. That night, for the very first time, I saw him as a protector, a man who safeguarded my children and, in his own way, protected me as well. Yet, I now saw him as a man trapped within a system that granted him all the power and left me with none. A system that allowed some to buy and sell human beings, tear families apart, and play at being God. A system that placed Gabriel at the very top and me at the very bottom. A wicked system indeed. Though I had never loved him as a wife loves her husband, a seed of respect was planted in my heart. I realized that Gabriel possessed a heart after all. Who would have thought a white man with a heart? Upon my return to the house, Gabriel ordered me to remain in the slave cabins for 2 more weeks. Only after his mother departed for France was I allowed back inside. I later learned she had refused to live under the same roof as me. During those days, my Monique and Jean-Claude secretly taught me how to read and write in French. When their tutor arrived for lessons, I pretended to work, but in truth, I listened intently, eager to absorb whatever knowledge I could from their instruction. Though my children were not born under ideal circumstances, I never regretted bringing them into this world. I loved them more than I love myself. And that's that, right? So, so what do you think? Do you think Gabrielle is a good person, a bad person, or you just don't have enough of information to make an informed decision, right? So, if that's the case, feel free to click in the link in my bio. It will take you to my website, and you can actually get your own personal copy of my book, The Diary of Madame Decadeaux, Part 1. Also, on my website, you can listen to my podcast, and if you want to leave me any comments or feedbacks, you can also do that on my website. So, I just want to thank all of you guys for joining me once more today and listening to a deeper conversation with Christine. Until next time, peace out.